What is going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Unknown Factions, and thank you for joining me for some more Valheim. And today is another episode of Ravenheim. Yes, we are back on the server with the other YouTube creators, up to no good, mischief and building as always. But first, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and smashing that like button so your boy can get a little promotion. Both are greatly appreciated. But with no further ado, let us begin. So I was just spending my morning clearing paths around from my base over towards this little stone structure right past this pond. I was debating on carving a little river in here. I wanted to do like a nice stone walkway with maybe a gazebo and some flowers and stuff, some turnips and onions growing along the sides. You know, it's all up for spitballs. I don't know how sprawling this starter town's going to be, which it might end up becoming just a real town. We keep calling it a starter town, but everybody's putting a lot of effort into the things they're building, so it's kind of funny. But so as I was just waiting for everybody to come in, I just was kind of spitballing what to do with this big empty landscape here, because we're going to have to do something over here. We can't just leave all this deforested property unused, you know what I mean? But we did eventually have enough people log onto the server where we could call a town meeting, yes, held by Magzag herself. She has pulled us all to the top of Lala's house for this meeting. I think this was Lala's house, if I'm not mistaken. But we were just quickly deciding where to start building our community builds. So I have taken on the community ore refinery and / port so we can pull up with our boats and smelt. Versal is doing the storage house, Christy has the cafe, and Smitty and Mags are going to be working on the hype house. You know, going to be like a nice community stay area, you know, where we can chill, big plans, do whatever, little parties. I mean, you know the drill. But after the debate was settled on where we were going to start building all these structures, because we don't want to destroy our instance rate, so we decided to go spread out in this little wooded patch in front of us. And then it was time to take Smitty on his first Black Forest adventure. So we did a little prep, everybody got some food and some weapons together, and then we went and waited at Kaizen's portal, which he was so kindly to go ahead and make for us, and that way we can just teleport straight into the Black Forest. So much nicer than running. But I think our main reason for coming to the Black Forest was to kind of gather materials, scout for copper, gather berries and thistles and stuff, but we just kind of ended up fighting trolls the whole time, and a lot of people did die on this excursion, but in the end, I think it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. I tagged a ton of copper ore, and I got to watch a bunch of Vikings die in the process. So, win-win in my book. So, first off, as I just kind of ventured out, me and Christy ran into the first troll of the expedition, which we so skillfully handled. And it was almost like Valheim, seeing that I was getting just cocky with the trolls, you know, just standing at his feet and rolling and smacking. And they decided to be so gracious to spawn a 2-star troll for us. And oh dear lord, how laggy he was. He was literally teleporting around the map. I mean, it was scaring the living hell out of me, because it's like you sit there shooting at him and all of a sudden he teleports around a tree like Obi-Wan Troll Kenobi and whack your ass with a dang log. But after we spent, I don't know, probably a good 20 minutes fighting this guy, I probably fought him for a little longer, because as you can see, he just obliterated Smitty. He did eventually get Christy and Lala as well. I think only me and Versal were the ones who remained at the end of the fight, because I did battle him throughout most of the night, and he eventually just kind of disappeared. I ran over a hill to regen some health, and he had vanished. I don't know if he glitched out, lagged out. I think Kaizen actually came back and found him around the hill somewhere. Him and Christy, if I'm not mistaken. No, him and Versal. That's what it was. Pardon me. Sorry. Got to get my Ravenheim knowledge on point here. But after everybody came back and returned and got their stuff, I decided to carry on my own and just scout out copper and map the entire island that we're on. So I just kind of did the entire circumference to get a good idea of what's going on, and made my way back home to begin the construction of the community ore refinery. Now this did take a lot of mats. I cut all the BS out of me running back and forth and getting trees repeatedly, trying not to destroy any of the special trees around here, like the ones that are leaning, you know, the ones you can't recreate, you know. So, but as you can see right here, I'm just building a nice little ring around, and I am going to raise ground around this ring. So that's the only thing we're using this little one snap turn ring for, is kind of a guide to raise this ground for the kilns. Since we have no stone and iron to work with, and I can't jack anything in the air, we have to work around it. So this is going to be like a early game or refinery build. So as you can see, we're just going to run around the top of the ring, and I am going to catty corner all of these kilns on it, rotate them a little bit so it can drop all of the charcoal right here in the center. Boom, just like that. Came out quite nice. I mean, for having no stone, this is what we get, folks. Then I'm just going to go ahead and start slapping a floor down in this bad boy. Boom, just like so. And voila, there we have it. And then we're just going to run around the outside of this and wood it in. It's going to be a little oblong. It's not going to be exactly perfect. So I left some trees around it to kind of hide the misshapenness of this, which will eventually just tear this down afterwards. So I didn't go too in detail on this because after we have stone and iron, probably knock this bad boy down and raise those up properly. But as you can see, I went ahead and added a 5x7 little platform with a small dock shooting off into the water right here. Nothing too crazy, just something I can put these smelters on right here, as you can see. And obviously I had to raise the ground up over the wood. So now I'm going to go through and get our frame for our ceilings roofed in. So we just 2 off the ground and 2 apart all the way around. And then we're going to come up and we are going to do a little outline right here for our 45-degree roofing tiles. So I'm going to try a new style of roof right here. It's like, so we're going to do 3 peaks, and then we're going to do corners on the sides. So 2 smaller peaks and then 1 large peak in the center. And we're going to come off the corners with the 45-degree boards. It's going to look good. I got an idea, and I'm going to run with it. So boom, now we have our outlines. Which, you know, as soon as I started getting into the roofing, as you can see, I realized that the front of the building's over here. I should probably do the 3 peaks on the front side of the building instead of the sides of the building. So, and I don't want the same on all 4 sides, so I did actually switch around the model. So I did those same thing I did on the side, I did on the front, where you actually get in between the ore smelters. So I knocked out the little frame that I started with right there, and I'm going to change this to a 1 peak side and do the 3 peaks on the front, if you're following me here. Boom. And as you can see, come off the corner and throw an inverted 45 like that, and then just follow those lines all the way up as high as you can without needing support. So, you know, I'm going to have to do a nice rib cage style support in here to be able to get the height I needed, because we're going to be right at the threshold. I'm going to try to push this to the limit as high as humanly possible as you can get without iron. So of course, jumping to the other side and just mirroring everything we did on the first side. Corner piece 45 inverted, making use of all of our roofing tiles here. Boom. And then jumping to this corner and mirroring what we did in the other corner, obviously. Boom. And now we're just going to go ahead and get cracking on the front of this building. So we're going to do a big arch like I did in the frame at the very beginning. So we have our 2 small triangles and our large peak in the center. Boom. And frame this bad boy in real fast. I got a good idea what I'm going to do inside these windows. I think I'm going to do crosses and X's. If you couldn't have guessed. But now that we have our starter pieces down, all we have to do is just follow all of these up to as high as we go. I mean, to as high as you can go without support. And then we're going to jump down below, and then I'm going to add a nice row of support beams and do a nice rib cage inside of there. And I will show you what I mean right now. So busting the floor out, being able to touch the ground, and then we're going to snap these on our little rafter that we ran all the way across right there. And that is going to be the perfect support that we need, of course. Jumping up here and putting the 45-degree boards in like this. That way we can touch the side of the tiles with just 1. Because if you go straight up, you're going to have to put 2 and you're going to lose a space. So we're trying to get the most out of our reinforcement right there. And then you'll be able to go up top and continue following your pieces all the way up, and then finishing off with the 4 corners and 4 45s. And then you have a beautiful hip roof all the way to the top. Hey, somebody got me, talking about styles of roof in there, because, I'm always just throwing out words like I know words or something. So somebody wanted to get real literal with building in the comments. Sorry if I use the wrong words sometimes, man. I only framed for a few years when I was young. I do not do that for a living. But as you can see, maybe I should have, because these roofs keep coming out on point. What's up? That is a beautiful roof right there. You know what I mean? Now, Next up, we're just going to have to add a little bit more to these peaks. We're going to box them in, add some overhang. Try to make this thing a little more aesthetically pleasing. You know how I do. Can't just have no plain Jane little building. Even if it is just going to be an outdoor refinery where people are going to come smelt stuff. Not like nobody's going to live here. But still, when I walk around this place, I want to be able to appreciate it. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and do these little windows right here with crosses in them. So, box these in with the 45s and then just run boards straight up and down right through. Not too bad. It's going to be a nice windows. And then, of course, right here, we're going to do my patented little diamond technique right here. Just playing. But seriously, if you use it, I got to get a little piece of commission. I mean, come on. How else is a boy supposed to make a living around here? But there we go. Now next on to moving up with some overhang. Yes, got to get some drip cap going. Don't want any mildew running down the side of our ore refinery. Come on. But moving to the dock side of the refinery, I'm going to do the same exact thing I did on the flip side, which is add a little overhang and then wall it in with a diamond and add an X to it. So simple to do, and it's very beautiful. So good technique, excuse me, good technique to have in your arsenal. So I think that's all I'm going to do on the roof. I think it's came out very nice. I'm not going to wall this in. I'm going to do some lattice around the sides. And of course, add a very nicely organized storage system in there. And then eventually add this dock all the way out. I say eventually, it'll happen very soon. I'm going to add that dock out and add a bunch of long ship ports in there. Or carved ports for now. But seeing how I was the only Viking on the server at the time, I figured when else better than to enact some Viking debauchery, so I paid one of our fellow Vikings a visit, and I decided to dig a pit under their floor, tear up their deer rug, bring some hides of my own, and lace this hole with deer rugs so they can't see it. I'm not going to tell you which Raven it is. You're going to have to go watch their content to find out for yourself. All the creators are down in the description. Please do go check their stuff out. They are all amazing and hilarious people. But with all that said, I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video. And as always, I will catch you folks in the next one.